And a pleasant good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Put It Book Show. I am Steve, as always. Let's see if I can get this right. There we go. Joe, over there, right there. Joey. Keith, right beneath me. And right in that corner. Oops, I gotta get in front of the microphone so my fingers don't wear out. Rodriguez,
They put me in the
down
corner.
there. They
They
put
put
you
me
in
in the
there.
corner.
Well,
You know
everybody's
what
gonna
I'm
be a corner.
bouncing on your head, right? You know what I'm bouncing.
Careful, Keith is gonna get jealous from last week.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's nice. But yeah,
All right, so we're gonna talk through some things here today. Again, back in Coronaville, we have some stuff to talk about, some stuff that we have to reach for. Keith will be back, I'm sure. And so first, we're gonna get started off with some of the things that we've heard this week about a potential plan to get back on the field, and then we're gonna go through some talk of some pitchers, past and present. And then we're going to go down a list. For those of you who remember from a couple of years ago, we went through and we voted on who we thought was the best player, Mets best player at each position. And it was best 2 out of 3, basically. Most we agreed on, best 2 out of 3 won, I think, 2 positions maybe. But we're going to get to that because this week, with again,
You were
everybody
right 7 out of
reaching.
9 times.
Yeah. With everybody reaching to grab content and whatnot, CBS/SNY did their own top Met at every position. So we're going to compare ourselves to them. One is a little laughable, but I'm going to read out the reasoning why. Rodriguez, I mean, all of us are going to be like, what? At one position. All right, but with that, I hand it over to the very capable hands or mouth of Keith to discuss. Sorry, it had to come out somehow.
Mouth.
To talk through some Brooklyn Water Coffee as I share the show out. Hit it, Keith.
Speaking of mouth and coming in your mouth, Brooklyn Water Coffee Roasters bursting flavor right in your mouth. All their wonderful flavors, such as dark roast, dark chocolate, and it is a rich chocolatey flavor, delicious coffee, and it has how many calories?
Settle.
I like to make them do 2 things. Then there's the Jacked Up Cupcake. Jacked Up Cupcake is a part of the high energy line, 50% more caffeine in the Jacked Up Cupcake, which is also what we like to call. Oh, damn, I knew I'd get it wrong. Rodriguez. And there's several other high energy lines. There's several other flavors, such as Drunken Pig. And don't worry, only the finest of animals were harmed in the making of this delicious treat. Actually, no animals. But this one also has how many calories, Farace?
Settle.
I strictly drink Brooklyn Water Coffee Roasters. Right now I'm working through my bag of Morning Wood and getting over to my bag of Drunken Pig. I suggest you check it out now. And as a matter of fact, when you do, just buy a second bag and put in the code.
That worked out like phenomenally. That was great.
Put in the code. Is it stay home?
Stay home.
Stay home. Put in the code stay home. Yes. Put in the code stay home and you'll get your 3rd bag free, but you do have to still buy 2. They're still delivering. Guaranteed to ship within 24 hours of its roast date. BrooklynWaterCoffeeRoasters.com. Go there now. Keep stalling because I see Farace still over there and he's still typing away. He's so busy looking busy.
No. You know what's funny is that group that just hates me for sharing stuff out because the internet's not big enough for all of us. I think it was Mets Forevermore or something like that. I don't see them on my list. I think they took me off the group. I think they said, you know what, you can share this shit out. Get out. You're out.
They warned you only like 22 times.
They did. You remember what I should show that to you guys. What the leader of that group said. Maybe next week I'll show you guys. He said, "This is my decision, and that's final." Like,
yeah, I think you can show me that.
Vincent Mann. So that happened. Oh man. All right. So let's get to. I mean, this is a story that we've been waiting to hear, and we've been trying to, we've been waiting patiently. We're watching, Joe was texting yesterday about they were doing a live game from MLB The Show with Gary, Keith, and Ron doing it live. And did you see that it made headlines on ESPN because of what Gary said about, with the crowd noise so low, you wouldn't be able to make out a banging of the garbage can.
Yeah.
So on ESPN it says Mets announcer calls out the Astros cheaters.
They made a bunch of funny comments yesterday.
It was
say that the fan comments during the broadcast were literally every time the Astros were up, bang, 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 bang. So
it was great.
Recurring theme.
Yeah, and all right,
Cheers.
so
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, do you know?
No, I was saying cheaters, but cheers.
Oh, sorry. Hey, sorry, whiskey on the brain.
Cheers to the cheaters. That's what
Cheers.
they get. They're gonna
Cheers
get
to
that
the
all year.
cheaters.
They deserve it.
I want to double check something before I say something here, because I never like to be wrong.
You said you want a double Dutch?
No, not today. Not today.
I like to see that. I like to see you double Dutch. In
Happy
fact,
birthday.
I like to see Keith and Jill double Dutch.
I've never. That never worked out for me. Never.
Yeah, no,
But
Never do that.
speaking of cheers, happy birthday goes out to the kid. Gary Carter's birthday today. So
happy birthday, kid.
Raise, give a thumbs up. Raise whatever it is that you're drinking.
66.
Yes.
Thumbs up.
Wow.
He would be a manager right now. You know that, right?
Yeah, he would.
He'd be a manager for sure.
For sure.
So especially the spew of hiring that's been the last 5 to 7 years.
He campaigned for it. He wanted to be the manager. He kept saying it. I think somebody had a problem with him. One of the previous Met managers had a problem with him. He was trying to get the job.
Who? Which one?
Somebody had a problem with him trying to get the job. They were saying that he was just being too out there, saying that he wanted to be the Met manager. I think somebody was still in power. Current manager.
All right, look. So
It's probably Whitey Herzog pulling some MLB strings to screw over Gary Carter.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, why not?
Jeff Passan from ESPN, he's a senior ESPN baseball guy, made the rounds a couple days ago on all the ESPN shows. So there's a few different podcasts I listen to. I listen to the ESPN Daily, which is like a 20-minute podcast of the biggest news of the day from ESPN. Then I tried to listen to the Baseball Tonight podcast. He was there too. I listened to Dan Lebertard. He was on there too. This is the news,
Life, buddy.
Right? He's all over the place. Yeah, well, at least he's busy, right? So anyway, news came out that MLB has been working with Center for Disease Control and various other organizations about what can they do to get baseball back. A lot of people were calling it a done deal, that the season was going to be canceled and whatnot. So here's the potential. And it is baseball coming back at some point in May. I would say later part of May. And it would be all in Arizona, like a bubble. And it would be 10 to 12 different stadiums being used. Not sure how they would come up with a number of games played, but the talk is there are going to be days where there's double headers. That would be a potential for 7-inning games for both ends of a double header. No mound visits. Lot more use of. I know Rodriguez loves this, but the potential to implement an electronic strike zone so that the umpire can stand 6 feet away from.
Oh my God!
6 feet back. And players, instead of congregating in the dugout, would be in the stands 6 feet apart.
Batter is still going to be closer than 6 feet to the catcher.
Yes.
Wow.
Base runner is still going to be closer than 6 feet to a baseman. I don't know.
Well, there's
virtual tags.
There's a lot of problems.
Yeah, no.
There's a lot of problems with this, and I think first of all, when they were talking about the times, because first thing that jumps into my mind outside of Chase Field, which has a dome, it's 120 degrees in Phoenix. in the summertime. So
yeah, you'd have to play all evening games.
they talked about 9 a.m. games. They talked about evening games.
Oh my God.
And so then they brought on Jeff Passan had done an interview with, hold on, I have the name now. Dan Straley. Dan Straley, former major league pitcher, average major league pitcher. He's like 44-40, ERA 4.4 or something like that. He pitched for the Orioles, the Marlins, the Cubs. But now he's over in South Korea pitching because he was a mediocre pitcher. So he's over in South Korea. And so
how many
there's
times you gonna insult the poor guy?
Sorry. Yeah, you play for the Orioles. Sorry. Mediocre doesn't mean bad.
Well, now he's in Korea because he's
in Korea.
mediocre.
Because of New York. I mean, come on. We all know what you meant.
Yes.
You
Sorry. So they're starting intra-team games right now. Most, if not all, the players are wearing masks.
Wow.
They talked about how South Korea has come back from this coronavirus thing, and it was mostly because they weren't playing about things. They were on lockdown. If you had to get to a bank and you were not, like some of the players went over there and immediately had to go get money, but you walked into a bank and you weren't wearing a mask, you got to go. Supermarkets, you got to wear masks, got to wear the gloves and everything. So they're going to be starting. Potentially, right now the date is May 5th, so they're going to be starting on Cinco de Mayo. That's their opening day. Now, clearly there's differences, right? There's only 10 teams there, whereas there's 30 teams in baseball. They don't have to worry as much about the traveling thing there. Their curve is there now. So let's hear it. What I want baseball back, and if they're working with the Center for Disease Control and they think it's safe, I'm all for it. We're watching either old games right now or we're watching video games. That's what baseball is for us right now. So I know, Rodriguez, you're the purest of the pure fan of baseball, and I see that you already got. I know that you're already upset about the strike zone, but if this was like a one-off scenario, supposedly more teams making the playoffs just because of the craziness of how the season is going to go, what do you think?
Listen, like you said, I'm pure baseball, 100%. But we're in a very bad time right now. I mean, Korea is doing their thing. There's a lot less people in South Korea than there are in America. There's a lot less teams to contend with in a baseball season. I mean, they're working with a different set of rules, scaled down set of rules. I mean, we're in a pandemic right now. Is baseball? I know we love baseball. I love baseball. It's not worth people's lives. It's not worth how messed up the game is going to become just trying to get in the games, because the only reason this is being done is for the money. Okay, so that's sold already. You're only doing it for the money. You're not doing it for the baseball purist. Because if you're doing it for the baseball purist, you could wait till June. You can get 100 games in if you start up in June, mid-June. Give them a couple of weeks to get in shape. Expand the rosters to 30 guys. Bring up more guys. That is
part of it.
That doesn't change the game that much. Limit the mound visits, sure, why not? That's fine. Speed the game up a little bit. The more guys you have on a team, the more guys that'll be fresh. The more doubleheaders you can play during the season. Because nowadays everybody seems to break a pinky toe whenever they walk across the diamond or something. But you can get in 100 games. 100 games is a fair amount of games to know if you're good or bad. I mean, let's be honest. The Rangers or the Mariners are not going to be the greatest team. Well, they're on the way up, but let's say the real bad teams are not going to win 70% of the 100 games. So the cream's going to rise to the top, and you start your playoffs on time. You just got to play double headers, but worry about people's health a little bit more than the money. This May initiative is a little aggressive, using umpires, using digital umpires to record a game, to call a game while an umpire stands to the side. I mean, no, play baseball. Why are you going to turn a game that's a beautiful game, in my opinion, into just a fast money hungry game for the rich guys that want to make all the bucks and the guys that want to get paid and all that stuff. Be cautious on the side of what's going on right now in the world, but you can start the games in July, mid-June, early July, and still get about 100 in.
Okay.
It'll still be a good season.
All right, Keith, what do you think? There's a crow.
Yeah, it's like when Chris Moltisanti got made. So here's the thing, to Rodriguez's point, right? May's a little early. Now, if you're going to talk about, hey, in June, we're going to start doing some exhibition games and put that bubble in place and separate the players as much as possible initially, I get that. I think, honestly, in my head, and when all this really started weighing down the COVID-19 and the lockdown, I was imagining a all-star. Obviously, there wouldn't be an all-star game, but an all-star break start, like a half a season, an 82-game season to a 90-something, 100-game season.
Fine.
That way, we're stretching it out and maybe stretch the season this 1 year into November a little bit if we needed to add some games for the playoffs and things like that right before giving. Push it out. Safety is first, like Rodriguez says. We say, hey, let me get out there. May, we're playing games. We're playing in a bubble. Here you go, fans. Be happy. No, truthfully, it's not about people being happy, people being healthy. And I think a July start, maybe even late July start, push it back a little bit, get 82 games in, would be once we get to that point, to take the temperature of the nation, the temperature of where we are in terms of this COVID-19. If we're still in a pandemic and there's some serious contagious stuff flying around, then we need to put a halt on that. Even I think all this needs to be fluid right now. We can't set anything in stone. But from where we're sitting now, if everybody remains doing what they're supposed to be doing, stay the F home, and we bend the curve and all that other terminology, we can hit a July date. But May might be a little early. And that whole nonsense with sitting 6 feet apart and the players sitting in the stands, that's a bit much. I get the separation of players. If what we need to do, that's what we need to do. But what I had mentioned earlier, you go to first base. What are we going to do? Virtual tags at plate? Here's the play at the plate. They run 6 feet off. Oh, but he's stretching out and he's out. You can't do that. It's not a contact sport to the point of football, but it is a contact sport. You got to play around each other. You're going to be sharing droplets, folks. It is what it is.
Okay.
If you're going to isolate,
fans.
Yeah, no,
right, no
fans.
No fans. Maybe playoff time. You can remeasure that and see if you do a limited capacity fan base, depending on the temperature of where we are with this COVID-19 situation. But I would say no until we deem yes, not maybe or any other questionable thing. There's no, we'll see how it goes. And that's that.
Okay. Joe, what you got?
First of all, I'll watch games even without a crowd there. I know it's not the same, but I'll watch a game even without the crowd noise. That still would be enjoyable for me, A. B, both of you guys point about being safe, 6-foot bubble. Look, they have a 15-minute test they give anybody that's going to be around President Trump right now. You're going to tell me that in the next 30 to 60 days that's not going to be available, at least regardless of how expensive. They were able to test an entire NBA team before the pandemic even broke. So I would think it's possible to test every single player before the game. Get every player, every umpire tested before the game. You're positive, you're out. You're in, then there's no – you play your regular game. You have the ump over catcher. You have your regular game. I mean, there's no reason we shouldn't be able to have those tests available in the next 60 days, May, maybe a little early. Maybe May would be good to get the teams into Arizona and start warming up, have a little week or two of spring training, let everybody loosen up and get back on the beam. Mid-June, start the games, 100 games, absolutely. Even with no fans in attendance. And maybe by the time playoffs come around, maybe it's safe enough for fans. Maybe we have the 15-minute test that you want to get into a stadium. You have to show, a negative test from the last 24 hours, There'll still be lines of people waiting to get into a game. Yeah, no, I say yes to any baseball we can get. I don't want to dilute the game by changing it with an electronic ump and 6 foot distancing. But let them get together and play. I think everybody needs that, them and us.
Yeah, and to Joe's point, that I believe that's part of the plan. Also, everybody would be in the bubble. Hotel workers, it's all one. It's like baseball city. Let's call it, for argument's sake.
It's like
And
biodome.
and just get the dome from Black Panther. We're all good. That's it.
Get everybody in the funnel, everybody tested, and then everybody behaves normally.
Yeah. Temperature checks, all that stuff would be part of it. And as long as it's baseball, I'm okay. And if it's the Center for Disease Control is saying that it's okay, then who am I going to argue with that logic? Not anybody else's logic that may or may not be in a leadership role. So here's one other point that he made, and actually it might have been Dan Le Batard that made this point, and it was that baseball is whether we like it or not, baseball is behind the 8 ball right now when it comes to ratings and whatnot compared to the NBA and the NFL, just because that's what it is, and it's become more of a regional sport than a national sport. And this would be, if it's healthy enough, this would be the time for it's only baseball. Baseball that's it. They don't have to compete against basketball. They don't have to compete against football. This is its time to shine, so to speak. And then this is another part that you guys won't like, you're purists. Mic'd up players would be more available. So those two things, I don't mind either one of those two things. So it's not a big impact for me. I know for you guys down beneath me, just positioned on the screen. But I know for you guys, Keith and Rodriguez, you really didn't want too much of the robot or the strike zone or the mic'd up players.
No, strike zone I'm for. Mic'd up player I wasn't.
Oh, okay. My apologies. Yeah, robot, so I'm all for the strike zone.
Oh, figures.
Hey, fair is fair.
At a minimum capacity, I like the aspect because I understand the needs an injection of excitement and fan engagement. So I like the microphone and the mic'd up players in that aspect. But I think if it's done, it's a bit, I think it should be a special thing. You add it once in a while, all-star games. It's too much. I think it's too much of a distraction if you do it consistently.
I think what you're saying right there, just finish it off right there. It's too much of a distraction. It's a distraction for the player. Forget about the fan watching a game and the guys trying to talk to you while you're trying.
No, for us it's cool. I freaking loved it. Yeah, I loved it. But I don't want my players getting all their.
But are you calling baseball players not as intelligent as football players, basketball players?
But football players aren't having conversations. No, they don't.
Yeah, they are.
They're different. They're mic'd up.
They're calling plays out.
They're yelling on the field and they're talking play calling. They're not sitting there having a conversation. I'm going to swing a set right now. Oh, you got this. You got this. It's different. It's
no. Aspect. It hold on. So let me clarify it then. It's no longer announcer talking to the player. It's just mic'd up.
Okay, and that was my issue.
Oh, that's different. It's just like having a wristband.
Right.
But you're gonna get a bunch of F words. I mean, I was gonna.
But they'll record it. It won't be live. It won't be live. Live stuff. It'll be recorded and then played back.
Okay,
that's fine. That's for the guy playing, right?
Yeah.
Picture this.
Yeah.
Picture it, Sicily.
So Twib notes. Everybody who's a baseball fan, my age over and a little younger, knows what Twib notes are. It was something we looked forward to. We are the guys who read the newspaper back to front every morning because we wanted to see the stats. We read all the box scores. Now everything's instant. And on Saturdays, we had this thing called This Week in Baseball, where they kind of went through the league and gave all the highlights and funny stuff, and showed a little bit of the spirit and character of each player. Ozzie Smith, big back then. Gary Carter, Darryl Strawberry, Lenny Dykstra, Mats. But what we can do in that case, I'm having a two-way conversation with another player or the booth. You mic it up, you edit it up, you do an hour-long show once a week, and you kind of bring that aspect back. So because there's so much instant information, nobody's going to be interested in something like the old school This Week in Baseball, but an inside scoop on the players' thoughts, their reactions, and what they're saying during actual gameplay.
ESPN, MLB Network, do a whole show on it every week.
So that would be cool.
That'll work.
And I probably just spilled like a beautiful idea out there, and somebody's going to steal it, and I get nothing out of it.
Done.
So
all right. So let's move to the next topic real quick. We can get back to this if anybody else has any more insight, but we only have Joe for another 5 minutes or so. So I wanted to run down real quick.
Please don't go.
Wanted to run down real quick. What we did a couple of years ago was we did best met at each position, and we had our team out. And then this past week, with the lack of content out there, CBS/SNY did their own. So we wanted to match up what we did a couple of years ago to what they did this week. So Joe, I know it's a 5-minute thing, and you've had little to no time to prepare for this. But maybe rapid fire, maybe a couple of seconds here and there if you need to think about it, but I don't want to waste all your time.
So you have your list up and ready?
I have it up. So let's go. Let's start off with first base and go.
Do you have the grid? I put it up.
I do, but I don't want to sway Joe at all.
Okay, that's
Carlos Delgado.
Carlos Delgado for Joe. All right. Second base.
Felix Millan.
Third base.
This is a tough one. Cranepool.
Shortstop.
Reyes.
Left field.
Butch Husky. I don't know. Let me get back to left field.
Okay. Center field.
Tommy Agee.
Right field.
18.
Darryl. Starting pitcher.
Just one?
Yeah, we did top. We did number one.
That's tough. It's got to be Seaver.
And what about closer?
Relief pitcher, yeah.
You know, my heart says John Franco, but it really probably should be Orozco.
Okay.
I got to say, I don't disagree with anything Joe said, but his approach and thought is way different than most of ours.
Well, we had a week to think about
cool.
it from week to week.
Yeah,
Joe's like boom, 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 boom.
That's true.
And if I had some time to look at the list of
I have no
second
issue.
base,
I have no issue with you picks. It's just so different.
I mean,
it's cool.
That's Felix Millan. First name that comes to mind, the most memorable second baseman I can remember. Catcher is always going to be Piazza. That's not. I mean, I know Carter is in our hearts, but Piazza has the special place in my heart. So yeah.
All right. So now let's share this real quick.
Middle reliever, Turk Wendell.
We didn't. I don't think we did that one. But
okay.
Turk Wendell.
The bone
Shark
necklace.
bone.
How do you not love him? You gotta love him, man. He was a nut job.
Let's bring up ours. Let me get this out of the way here.
Seaver. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So let's one by one here. So Tom Seaver was our guy. It's their guy also. Gary Carter was our guy. I did vote for Piazza. Just want to throw that out there. So did in a poll we did. 75% of fans voted for Piazza. CBS Sports says Piazza. I wish I had you back then, Joe. For first base, Keith Hernandez. Both us and CBS Sports. Second base was Fonzie. both sides. Captain David Wright at third base for both sides. Shortstop.
Howard Johnson at shortstop?
Who thinks of him as a shortstop? He did play there, but
he played there. So I believe that the guy who wrote this
is an idiot.
His name is Matt Snyder. I believe he's got an issue with Reyes, but he did not spell it out. All he said was Jose Reyes, not on my team.
That's exactly what he said. You're right.
Yeah, and then it's the hold on. If there's a link next to it, and it's part of the not my team, and it was because of the domestic violence thing. Okay, this is more of a baseball thing, but whatever. So he wrote, who spent some time at shortstop? Howard Johnson. I know he actually played very well at shortstop in 1990-91. He finished 5th in the MVP voting. He led the National League in home runs and RBIs, and he played 28 games at shortstop.
I take Ordonez then. If I can't have
because he played more in shortstop, right? I don't agree with it. But I like having Hojo on the list. But
to me, if the captain wasn't the captain, Hojo is solid lockdown third base.
Choice,
Hojo's up his rear end in that choice, but captain is, clear favorite. But it's close to 1A, but he's 2. Hojo is amazing. I love Hojo. He was my favorite Met for years.
My mom's favorite Met too. I have a shirt. Hojo's face on it. Left field was Kevin McReynolds for us. Cleon Jones for CBS. Center field, Rodriguez's favorite Met of all time, Carlos Beltran.
I love that Beltran didn't even come into my mind. I love it.
I wish I could say the same.
I love it. Didn't even come into my mind.
Not even in there.
The same, bro.
All right, and then Strawberry and Wright, and then Johnny Franco at reliever. So that's how that went. I wanted to, the Howard Johnson thing threw me off for a second, but now I see, okay, whatever. But
I respect that.
I respect what he said, but when it comes to strictly, this is the best Met at every position. I don't care if somebody committed murder. He's a Hall of Famer, and he, 40 home runs a year. He's going to be the top Met of all time, like it or not.
Is your favorite left or right fielder of all time Barry Bonds?
No.
Oh, but look at his stats.
But he cheated. But, domestic violence didn't help.
So because steroids is a worse offense than beating your wife?
No, but steroids help you play baseball.
I'm just messing with you, but I'm just saying, it's his opinion. I respect whatever. I don't agree with it, but I respect it.
Joe, you got to head out?
Yeah, I do. I got to head out, guys. I'm sorry.
Joe,
appreciate you joining us, buddy. Be safe.
Man. Let's go Mets.
Let's go
Mets, baby.
All right. Oops. There we go. Just the 3 of us. Let's get put in the books back up here. Boom. All right. So that was that. And then I don't think we went into this quite the detail here, but just want to run through this real quick. They went so far as to put a lineup together, and let me bring the screen up. One of our favorite things is to throw lineups together, right, guys? we do at the beginning of the season, who should bat where and whatnot. And this banner is in the way again. Let me get this out of here. All right, so we don't really have to do anything down here, but let's talk. So I went through the lineup, and I thought of 4 guys maybe that could be in the leadoff spot. And because they put David Wright in there, I took him into consideration. David Wright, Fonzie, maybe a Cleon Jones, Keith Hernandez, depending on on base percentage and whatnot. And believe it or not, David Wright has. I'm sorry.
We're going to use their.
Yeah. Just on their roster, and. Believe it or not, I have to double check. Let me check Keith Hernandez real quick. But out of Fonzie and Cleon and David Wright had the highest on base percentage. Let me see what Keith Hernandez has here. David Wright was at 376 career. Keith Hernandez 384. But what do you guys think for a leadoff guy?
He's great.
I gotta go Reyes.
He's the captain. I mean, what can you say? But why
we're
using their roster, though, Keith?
Yeah, we're gonna use their roster. We're gonna use their roster.
I mean, it's not a bad decision. I mean, there's about 3 guys in this lineup probably pop in lead off and say it's not a bad decision. I'd be okay with it. After experiencing Terry Collins as a fan for many years, I'm okay with just about any lineup. But you know that'll work.
I put Fonzie first and David Wright behind him.
See, I was thinking, and again, any which way we do this, it's a damn good lineup. But my thought was, I would like in the interest of our best hitter nowadays, best hitters in the 2-hole, crank Keith Hernandez in that 2-hole, and then maybe move Beltran in right behind Piazza and drop Hojo down behind Beltran. What do you guys think? I mean, there's no wrong answer here because it's a phenomenal lineup no matter what, even though Rodriguez will find a way to tell me I'm wrong.
No, I mean, you're wrong, but here's the thing. If you take Hojo doesn't see anything above 8. He bats 8th in this lineup, in my mind. I'm starting off with Fonzo. I'm coming up behind him with David Wright because I think David Wright's a great hitter to the opposite field. He's got a lot of power. Fonzie's going to get on base. I think his on base percentage was like unbelievable, over 300, like 350 or something.
His was around 355. Wright was 376, and Keith Hernandez 384.
Yeah, so I would put David Wright. I would put David Wright behind him because he has more pop. He can get him doubles, get that guy over the third. He's not that fast. Then, if you want to drive people in and you want the guy that's the best hitter that you believe is the best hitter on the team, you could stick Hernandez third, okay, and then you bring up Stroman fourth, okay. Then you put Piazza. Actually, I would put instead of Piazza, I would put Cleon Jones, then Piazza. That way Piazza will have if he doesn't come into the first inning, he'll have a guy or 2 on base that he can drive in because Piazza's just going to make solid contact no matter where you go.
And Cleon Jones will see more hittable pitches
because Piazza will be right behind him. And we're just going based on Cleon Jones' All-Star year and stuff like that, and the fact that he was a great Met. But I mean, it's not like we're talking about the greatest hitter of all time either. We're just looking at short seasons for him. And then Beltran is in there right after Piazza, and then Hojo.
Okay, all right, Keith, what do you think?
I mean, it's really tricky, but I'm toying with the idea of Beltran leading off, and I'll tell you why. Because Beltran, in his Mets tenure, did have like a 360 some odd, something like that, on base percentage, and then with Rob Captain in there second. Then I think you got to go Piazza third. You want him up there first inning, and then you want that big scary dude coming up fourth. And that in this lineup is going to be Darryl, because Darryl is an imposing. Even if he's slumping, scary. You don't want to pitch to him. And then you drop right behind him. You drop somebody like an Edgardo Alfonso, get some, and you kind of restart your lineup again. And then you drop a Keith Hernandez right behind him, who's going to move Edgardo Alfonso back over again. This is a relentless lineup. God
That's
damn
nasty.
it! Not one. It is really nasty. No matter what you do with it, you're good.
Great.
Yeah, and then you after Keith Hernandez, Edgardo Alfonso, Cleon Jones, and then of course you got DeGrom, who hit home runs. I don't know how Tom Seaver was as a batter or Koosman, but
he wasn't much. He wasn't much.
No. Yeah, I remember
Koosman being a better hitter than Tom Seaver.
Yeah, well, the way he pitched, I guess it don't matter. Right. But yeah,
don't always try to prove me wrong. Look it up.
I'm just trying to prove the facts. All right, who are we looking at? Tom Seaver and Koosman?
Yeah, hitter wise.
But I think you could essentially make a lineup that resets back into a starting lineup again, right in the middle of this lineup, and just pound the hell out of teams.
You could, and with those pitchers, you're not going to give up many runs.
Not at all. All right, so Tom Seaver was a lifetime 154 hitter. He did hit. Get out of here. He did hit 12. He did have 12 home runs.
Tom Seaver?
12 home runs. Am I looking at the right thing? 12. What? He had 12 home runs and 86 RBIs.
It's a 20-plus year career.
No, I know, but still.
Less than one a year.
I think. Yeah, but for a pitch, he hit 3 in 1 year. In 1977, he hit 198 with 3 home runs.
So the average is even worse. Think about it.
Yeah, right. The rest of it's worse. But no, actually, he had another season. 1972, he had 3 home runs.
Okay.
In 79, he had 2, and then the rest were ones mixed in.
50% of his home runs in 2 years.
In 2 years. I was gonna, and then who else am I going with? Koosman. Let me get Koosman up here. But
kind of anal but this is something that I'm kind of interested in now. Thinking about it. I know DeGrom's the best hitter out of them right there. Then you would have Doc. Then you would probably have Koosman and Tom. Hitting.
Okay, this is my life every day now because I work from. Thank you. I'm so grateful to be able to work from home, but all I hear all day is this. Because people don't mute their mic. Mute your mic when you're typing. And that's
no.
I'm letting out my frustration at everyone work all day. Your damn mic.
All right.
That came out of somewhere over there.
Yeah, Fwakata Farace's typing.
Fwakata.
Don't eat it.
That's a new life. Our new life is everything's video. I hang out with my friends' video, obviously our video, and at work, people don't mute their mics, and they have children, he's blasting, and dogs barking. It's like, not talking, just mute your mic. That's it. So, Farace, have some ethics.
Sorry. So sorry. All right, let me get this batting up here. All right, so come on, load. It's like scrolling through. Okay, so Koosman, he hit 119. Oof.
Wow.
He did crank out 2 home runs. He cranked them.
Oh, look at that. 2.
He did hit 215 1 year. He had 215 1 year, and that was in 1976. Outside of he had a lot of below the interstate. 077, 048, 086.
So he really sucked.
He was not a good hitter. Definitely not a good hitter. But I think Dwight
being a better hitter.
Yeah,
I'm biased because he's a lefty.
Who? Koosman? Oh, Koosman.
Yeah, I think that's why.
Yeah, it was also a long time ago, so it's okay if you got him switched up. But I think Dwight, Doc, I think he could have pumped out a ton of home runs if he had just stayed the course. But obviously that did not happen, and that is a good segue. Let's segue that. Let's segue that into Dwight Gooden, the boxer. Rodriguez, what's going on with your boy?
He signed up to fight this guy, Catfish, an internet star named Catfish. What's his name? Catfish, whatever. Catfish, fat guy with a goatee. I mean, what is this about, Dwight? How you fallen? I mean, once upon a time, a superstar, one of the greatest pitchers of all time. I mean,
Catfish Cooley,
dude. You're fitting, Catfish Dewey? I mean,
Catfish. Catfish Cooley.
Catfish Cooley. He has 2 stupid names. All right.
Oh my God!
Man. Get a job somewhere, being a pitching coach. Coach a college. Make some money off your baseball career. You're fighting guys, internet stars, Doc. Come on, man.
Catfish Colito. So, give you a little background on that. Who runs those celebrity boxing matches? He's on Howard Stern. I listen to Howard Stern. He was originally getting the Bagel Boss guy and Lenny to fight. And Dwight Gooden was going to be the referee. So
he looks like Fat Hillbilly the Gym. Hillbilly the Gym. Hillbilly Jim. Hillbilly the Gym. I don't know why.
That guy's gonna box ass. Anyway,
Yes.
yeah. This guy, who's this promoter, he does this stuff. He had Doc refereeing the fight between the Bagel Boss guy and Lenny Dykstra. Make this quick because it's such a stupid ass story, but
that's why I didn't talk about it. I know all this. I just wanted
Yeah.
I didn't want to go into it, man. It's just dumb.
I guess a little background for everybody else. So he was in touch with Doc. Doc has struggled. You've seen the 30 Doc, and it goes even a little bit beyond that. Doc has struggled. Daryl has problems. So grateful for him and thankful that he was able to pull it out. But Doc has still struggled, and I think he's still struggling. And I think he needs a little money and desperate times, desperate measures. This is what he's worth. I don't know. I mean, I think he could probably find some crazy ass rich Met fan to have to his party for $100,000 instead of doing stupid crap like this. Step with some hillbilly Bob Orton getting your ass kicked. Stop it. Yeah, it's sad.
I want to take him off of my screen here. I got tired of looking at him. Hillbilly Jim's estranged
I think
son.
no less of you. I love you, Doc.
But he did say something that was funny to Doc. He said, remember the time that Doc had that fight in Philadelphia?
Oh, yeah.
The guy, the pitcher threw at him and stuff like that. I forgot what his name was, but he went to Doc and he said, Doc, I'm no, let's say just Billy Bush or whatever came out. Billy Bush. I'm no Billy Bush. And Doc apparently took a swing at him. So it's kind of funny promotion.
Yeah, that's like a WWE thing, going together.
I mean, come on, you're Doc Gooden. You're royalty among Met fans. You are still to this day, forever will be. Don't do that nonsense. It's embarrassing for me. Don't do it.
Yeah. Dom is saying if you're gonna say Barry Bonds is a cheater, then you have to leave Beltran off this list. He's also a cheater. This is a match.
I don't think that's what we were. And I don't think that's what we were saying, Dom. I was just trying to make a point to mess with Farace. That's all I was doing. Yeah. It's like, I mean, I think he is, but it wasn't the point we were getting at.
He's a cheater now. He wasn't a cheater then.
Not that we know of. Not that we know of.
You can't prove it, so
exactly. So we can't look at nothing there. Yeah. So that's where we went with that. So Rodriguez, you bring up we spoke a little bit about extending some guys last week. One guy that we did not bring up was Marcus Stroman. So Marcus Stroman, the little guy on the mound, all-star. He's keeping himself ready, as should everybody. And I think nowadays, I don't know how it would be back before the social media days if this were to happen then. But nowadays, when this type of a thing is going on, you got players that are trying to one up each other in their workouts, right? In their workout video, staying in shape or whatnot. And so you got Stroman throwing to Dom Smith, and then I think yesterday I saw a video of either Stroman working out with Jose Bautista or Bautista pitching, and he was throwing like an 87-mile slider. I wouldn't mind having him on the mound as a teammate. But back to Stroman, is he somebody that you would like to see them extend? Like if a discussion had happened today, is he one of the Mets that you would want to extend?
Me, for sure. Stroman, definitely. He's 28 years old. The kid, he's 5'8", throws 92, 93. Okay? He works hard. He works his core. He's dead serious about pitching. Constantly, he's a thinking man's pitcher because he doesn't have the power that a lot of other guys have. So that guy will play into his 30s. Okay? If he doesn't lose more than 4 or 5 miles per hour on his fastball, he'll play into his mid-30s because he knows how to pitch. He's already coming from a base of being a pitcher, not a thrower. Okay, yes. So he's gonna be fine. 20 years old. He's really been an ace for the last 4 or 5 years. When you talk about good pitchers in Major League Baseball, Stroman's name comes up a lot. He's solid. 28, seems like a total team guy. Doesn't get into any trouble. fun guy on the internet, throws out his little videos, hangs out with Dom Smith. I mean, how could you not like the guy? You know, lives in Florida. You know, he seems like a good teammate, a solid pitcher, and a good investment because he takes care of himself.
I'm all in on that. And think about now how the rest of the baseball world was like, how stupid are the Mets? This is such a Mets move to trade for Stroman when you're so far out of the race. And
I thought it was great.
I was shocked because I heard all this news about they're going to start trading pieces away and whatnot. But hindsight 2020, Brody had the forward thinking to say, everybody thinks that we're just going to get out of this thing. Well, the season's not over yet. We have this stretch of games, this next 20, 25 games against, average to below average teams. We can get right back in this thing. And Stroman it's not a rental. We can keep him for another couple of years. Genius move, I think. And I don't see any guy now. I know judgment of the day of, but I don't see any baseball guy for any of these big sites that can honestly say that was a bad move. Now thinking back, like Rodriguez said, he's a total team guy. There were all those rumors that he was throwing a temper tantrum, that he didn't want to go there. Whether or not that happened, who cares? That's in behind closed doors. He's done it over with. He came out. He pitched his butt off that game in Colorado where the Mets were on the brink, and he pitched his ass off. And he gave up 1 run in Colorado, or no run. I'll have to go back and look. And he drove in the winning run. So
and he's a Gold Glove fielder.
Yep. And Rodriguez, another point that he made where this guy's coming across as being a pitcher, not a thrower. Do you know how many times he stands on a rubber or just an elevated or even flat, and all he does is raise his leg because he wants the repetition. And
he wants that control. He wants to be able to stop and throw guys' timing off, because when he comes up and he comes like that, you're kind of timing everything as a hitter. You're watching everything that the guy's doing. If he does any kind of tick or any kind of move, it's gonna throw your timing off. It's almost like you tell him, you click off, and then you quick pitch the guy.
Yeah, La Familia.
Yeah, you get a 1 and 2, and when you're trying to throw that third strike, you leave your leg up in the air an extra 2 seconds.
There you go.
Yeah.
How much trouble did American guys have with Hideo Nomo when he first came up?
Exactly.
The weirdness and the whole over the top, turn the back thing.
You remember when we got Nomo, and then they started playing the Phil Collins song, Nomo. Every time we came, me and George used to go to the game, and every time Nomo came with the pitch, we'd go, Nomo. We were so excited about it, and it was such a failure. But Stroman, right, because he can throw different timing at different counts and and just make the batter's head spin. It's a tool. It's a weapon. It's a pitcher's tool, like Rodriguez was saying. I love it. I love Stroman. He's a keeper. Keep him on board. I don't like people getting all upset about, we traded Anthony Kay, because I liked Kay too. But the thing is, you can't you can't hang your hat on somebody who hasn't proven themselves yet. When you're trading that unproven talent for proven talent, take that proven talent. And if that unproven talent pans out, oh well. It's also kind of like the trade we did with Seattle. We traded that kid. What's his name? The one I liked.
Kellenic.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't want to trade him, but hey, at the time we got a 50 you look like the genie from Pee Wee Herman.
No, it looks like he got snapped by Thanos.
yeah, that's true. So that's a good idea. I was actually trying to do that blues.
The green screen.
Yeah, I was trying to set it up too, but it gets a little washed out because of different colors behind me, so I left it alone. But like Kellenic, I didn't want to trade the kid, and the kid might be great, but at the time, it was a no-brainer. You got a 50-plus save reliever, and you have a veteran third baseman who can potentially hit 200, as we know, 300, as we know. All this didn't happen the way we wanted it to, but the trade at the time was a no-brainer. And we were dumping salary. So, I mean.
Yeah, we got rid of, Jay Bruce is gone. Remember, we also got rid of Jay Bruce and whatnot. And I can't remember the other pitcher's name that actually wound up going to either Atlanta or the Nationals. But for me with that kind of stuff, Dave Malicki. Hey, shutout. Gets the Yankees 6-0. Brilliance once. But for me, it's like the Mets have been burned so many times by the what ifs that I do care about prospects. I do care about. Look at that beautiful living room, Rodriguez. Can you go play us a tune on that piano?
Sing us a song.
Yes. But I'm all for bringing up the kids, and I'm all up for doing that kind of stuff and worrying about our farm system. But we've been burned, since the days of the big three, Pulsifer and Paul Wilson and Jason Isringhausen, Gen X, and we held on, and other teams wanted him, Of course, hindsight 50-50. That could have been an amazing big three right there. This is great. We've got great attention spans on the show, as you can see. This is what happens during COVID-19 lockdown, everybody.
I'm gonna make the Mets banner wet. There we go.
Wow! Look at that. Yeah, I've got a green screen. I just haven't been using it because I'm just been lazy about setting it up.
Oh, I didn't shut it off.
It's actual green. Or you could use a blue screen too, Rodriguez. That's why it's working better on yours than it is on Keith's. What is that? Like the swoop of the Disney, the Mickey behind it?
That's Mickey's glove, and that's
okay. There we go. All right. Dom wants to know where we would rate Ray Knight on the list of all-time third basemen.
All-time is a little rough. Sorry, I'm just jumping in. All-time's a little rough. As far as heart, as far as meaning to the franchise, he's up there. As far as stats and as far as straight on-field performance, he's not. I mean, the Mets have had 80-something third basemen. I mean, it's exaggerated, but not really. But as in terms of our hearts, Ray Knight's up there. In terms of stats, I'd be surprised if he cracks top 5.
He's a baller. He was a baller. I mean, he's all heart. You can say that about him.
I like that, Rodriguez. Nice
talent-wise, he's you got David Wright, you got Alfonso, you got Howard Johnson, and then you could throw in Robin Ventura. If you're looking at talent-wise, then maybe Ray Knight cracks the top 5. Maybe I think I might be missing a guy.
Where does Hubie Brooks go?
Hubie Brooks was a solid ball player. He wasn't He wasn't as good as he was with the Mets as he was with the Expos. With the Mets, he was a talent. That's why they traded for him. Of course, that's why we got Gary Carter, because of Hubie Brooks.
Hubie.
Solid. He could play shortstop too. He was, but he doesn't. As far as all talent wise goes, I mean, Ray Knight got us a championship. Love the guy.
He wins our heart.
So maybe number 5. Arguably. So you got Captain Wright, Ventura, Fonzie, Ray Knight.
I might put Fonzie ahead of Ventura.
Yeah.
Wise, because he was great everywhere he hit. Second and third, he was great. Ventura, his defense was outstanding, and he had some pop. And then maybe Ray Knight.
Yeah, when you're doing these lists, you got these are the top. I'll go through the top 10 guys who have played at third base for the Mets, and then we'll kind of get this wrapped up.
Wayne Garrett.
Yes. David Wright is number 1, 1,586 games played. I won't go through the games played. Just know that this is in order of games played at third base. So you got Captain David Wright, number 1. Hojo is 2. Wayne Garrett, number 3. Hubie Brooks, number 4, by 1 game over Fonzie. Then is Robin Ventura at 6. Ed Charles at 7. Dave Magadan at 8. You know, for,
I forgot about Dave.
he started off first base because he replaced
Hernandez.
No, he replaced. He came in 2 after Hernandez. What was his name? Who?
Greg Jeffrey.
Rico Bronya.
No. Neither one of
I
those
thought he
two.
played Rico Bronya. No.
No, it was what was the guy's name? They traded him to the Dodgers. I gotta look this up because it's gonna drive me insane. He was only a Met for a very short time.
Marshall?
Who?
Mike Marshall.
Mike Marshall. Thank you. And he got traded to the Dodgers. And it was because I weirdest things just stick in your brain. Magadan got a chance to start. What's his name, was struggling. Magadan got a chance to start one day in Chicago, and he went 4 for 4 with 6 RBIs, and he stole the starting job away, and they traded Marshall away. But I remember him more as a first baseman, and so he's number 8. Oh boy, Ty Wigginton, number 9, and Lenny Randall, number 10. So Ray Knight's 11th all time games played as a Met. Now that doesn't mean that he's 11th all time as a Met. That just means that Ty Wigginton, during our days of sucking, he was one of our bad baseball players.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Mike Piazza played a bunch of first games at first base?
Yeah, that was brutal.
I don't remember.
That was terrible.
It's like the flashy thingy that Men in Black.
Wow.
So yeah, I am. Todd Frazier's right behind Charlie Smith and Bobby Bowe. Bobby Bowe. Look at some of these other names. Greg Jeffries played 125 games there. Flores 128. Jim Fregosi.
You ruined our franchise.
Ruined our lives. Jeez, he played and all for 103 games. Rodriguez.
Wow.
That trade for 103 games worth of him at third base.
Wow.
Jeff Kent, 102 games. Reyes played 100 games there. So Matt Franco.
One more games than Fregosi played for us.
Yes.
How's that possible?
Butch Husky, third baseman, baby. Gold
Because he
glove.
couldn't waddle out to the outfield anymore.
Jeez. Todd Zeal. Tom O'Malley played third base. Didn't he play mostly outfield? Remember that guy? Asdrubal Cabrera, your favorite. Lenny Harris, TJ Rivera. Jeez, we've had.
I put him in the top 10 of Mets third baseman as Dribble.
Yeah, I could see that. There's been 172 third basemen for the Mets. We got to be number 1 in that, maybe. We got to be number 1.
I'm pretty sure we are.
Got to do it.
You want, but
hey, let's do it. Hey, records are records. Mackey Sasser played 2 games at third base.
Wow. I played a game at third base.
Hey, maybe.
I played a game there. Why not?
Yeah, we should put your name up here. 173. But Mackey Sasser, maybe he threw better from third base than he did.
Joe
from
Torre
catcher.
played 87 games.
Yep.
Joe Torre.
Yeah. Gary Carter played 2 games at third base. Damian Easley, Miguel Cairo. Remember these names?
Yes.
Sandy Alomar.
Yes.
3 games over there. Julio Franco, 5 games. Al Weiss, 5 games. Douchebag Echevarria played 5 games over there. I can't believe he's on.
Anthony Recker.
Anthony Recker. I said the 1 game.
That dude was built, man. He was a beast.
Yeah, but he just couldn't hit the ball. If he could connect, he hit some monstrous home runs when he laid into one accidentally. I mean, he hit a grand slam in against the Angels one year to win a game.
He hit a home run.
Carlos Baerga played 6 games for the Mets.
That's
Melvin
the worst
Mora
trade ever. That's the worst trade.
Steroid man, Melvin Mora. Remember how well he played with the Orioles?
Oh yeah, superhero.
So did Brady Anderson. He hit 57 home runs one year.
Yeah, and then next year, 17. Hey, he did it 1 year, and then Travis Darno also played a game at third base. Says Cornet. Yeah. Thank you, Cornet joins us.
Hey, Cornet.
Jeez. All right. Well, 100 and we're gonna put in a little asterisk next to your name, Rodriguez, and put you as 173. And
I'm all for it, bro. I got
we'll
proof. I'll show you a picture.
Who was here? Let's do one little mini trivia question. Who was the starting third baseman at the start of the season? Keith, you can't look. Put your phone down. Put it away. I see. What's that? Hands up, baby. Hands up. Tom O'Malley played 38 games at third base in 1990. What the hell happened then? No, that's not the question. All right. Random year here. Who started the year out for the New York Mets at third base in 1985? Look at Keith. He's
Who started in 1985?
Let's do it this way. Who played the most games at third base in 1985?
That's easy.
So of course you're looking at the answer.
Well, no, I know it anyway. Think about it.
Who was it then?
Hojo.
It was Hojo. He played 113 games, Ray Knight 73, and then the next year they flip-flopped. 132 for Ray Knight, 45 for Hojo.
Well, we did that trade, I think, for Hojo, right? Was it with the Tigers? In 84, mid-season, 85 mid-season, something like that? I don't know the whole history of that.
3 roids for Hojo.
Oh, he was right. Come on. Come on. Come on. 30-30 club, baby. Switch hitter. Couldn't really hit from the right side as much. All right, this is what we're gonna leave off with. I want to see his splits as a righty versus lefty. Am I typing too hard for you, Laris?
It is. It's pissing me off.
Tim says, there's no way MLB is getting 162 games in this year. Do you think this year's World Series winner gets an asterisk depending on how many games they actually play?
Nah.
Yeah, I think in any shortened season, like 94, the strike, and this year, I think you have to put an asterisk in there just because, a full season just wasn't played.
Screw the asterisk. You win, you win. If you play 90 games, you're the better team, and you make it through the playoffs, you win.
Well, the asterisk would only be because it's a shortened season, not because that you're a bad.
Not because it's
So,
asterisks on the season, not asterisks on the championship.
Yeah, I mean, you win, you get lucky, you get on a roll. Why not? Sure.
Look at the Nationals. Luck.
I think 80 to 100 games is a fair amount of games to play. Then you can really decide who's a champion. A 50-game season, and then you crown a champion. That's kind of bogus. But 80 to 100 game season, if you can get that in, you can crown a champion, and people will be like, "Yeah, that's solid. That's okay."
I'll buy that for $1.
Sure, why not? 50 cents.
I can't find righty versus lefty. Keith, maybe
we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it next week.
We'll talk it. Third side Grom for DeGrom this year. It says James Harrison, maybe.
James said it.
What do you think? I don't see why not.
Why not?
He's a consummate professional. He does his thing. He'll have his hiccup every now and then. Gave up like 8 runs in one game to the Reds or the whoever, Indians, whoever it was. Twins. It was the Twins on that rainy night last year, and then he shut the shit down throughout the rest of the year. It was Ryu and DeGrom, and it just kept on.
Well, yeah, to the top,
Ryu,
exactly.
Ryu, he couldn't keep up.
Ryu.
No.
Quick, W money, $100. Rodriguez, Cespedes, does he play this year?
Yep.
Farace.
Yes.
I say no.
Whether that's one game or 80.
I think
right.
He plays.
Does he play?
I mean, I think this can only help, right? It can only help him. It can only help Conforto. Conforto had the oblique thing. I don't know if it could help Lowry or not because I don't know.
Well, there's no help for that dude. I mean, he's just a sorry
He's a
case.
walking Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Everything's broken on that guy.
But I don't see why. Cespedes, I mean, he was going to play if it wasn't unless he either gets the virus or we don't play at all.
Now it really puts the Mets on the hook, because if opening day is in June or July and he makes it, it was easy for him. They had a chance to save some money on April 1st.
Oh, so what? So
think about it.
And they're gonna have to prorate all the different bonus types with everybody, but especially him, because he was gonna get kicked up to another notch if he had 600 plate appearances. So now if you play a half a season, now it's 300 plate appearances, and you ain't playing him every day. He's not gonna get that bonus for sure. He ain't getting that bonus.
You don't think so?
No, because I in a shortened season, the way the day off structures would work, they would have to give him multiple days off, a week sometimes, just to be able to hammer out the season. If that Phoenix thing happens, there's no way even young guys like Alonso and these guys won't be able to play X amount of games in a row in 110 degree heat. So, let alone the 36-year-old guy who just coming off 2 heel surgeries.
Cano?
Oh boy, Cano's gonna be out there with a cane. I don't know.
I think Cano's gonna have a nice year.
We should have a DH this year, both leagues. If we're gonna make those changes.
That's not bad. I'll go with that. Surprise, huh, Farace?
Yeah, no, because you're okay with the DH in the National League, because
I'm okay with it now.
Yeah, but if we go to an expanded roster, so we were going to be at 26 now. So if in that scenario we go to 35, then every team has a chance to have a DH. I think at that point.
Well,
we'll see.
We got next week. We can talk all about the DH, and if you're watching now, later, or sometime during the week, tune in. Call. Oh, we didn't give out the number tonight, did we?
No, I think though maybe next week we should start doing a little bit of call-in stuff.
We should.
I put out the I messaged a couple of guys on Twitter trying to get them on the show. We'll see if they take us up on the challenge. It's not like they have other things to do, right? Not current players, but guys that can talk to us about the New York Metropolitans. But I think that's it for this week. You see, we've always got stuff to talk about. Rodriguez will tell me that I'm wrong. I'll still gonna talk about it anyway. Keith will, tell me that I'm wrong. They both usually tell me that I'm wrong. But I know better.
No, that's wrong. I usually tell you you're right.
Yeah. All right.
You're still wrong even when you're right.
I guess. Anybody have any departing words, Keith?
Stay home, stay healthy, take care of your family, take this serious. Let's go Mets. And the longer you stay inside, the longer you isolate, the quicker baseball comes back.
Amen. Rodriguez?
What are you supposed to do, CDC? Help us. And you people stay home. Stop going out and drinking and hanging out. I want baseball back. I want to see my game. I want the curve to go down. I want people to live. Let's go Mets. Behave yourselves. See you next week.
Speaking of CDC, did you hear what their recommendation is for jokes? Only inside jokes.
Yeah.
I didn't have the soundboard up. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I set you up.
All right. So for me, closing words, usually about the site, cinesportstalk.com. Not a lot of reviews, obviously, happening now. But we do have our March Madness, which turned into April Madness tournament between actors and actresses going up. We're in a break today. Tomorrow is the Elite 8 getting started. Are you taking your temperature? Are you okay? Normal?
Yep.
We got a live COVID test on live on the air. So a lot of matchups that happen Monday and Tuesday. It was a Sweet 16 moving into the Elite 8 as of tomorrow. So make sure you get the votes in at cinesportstalk.com. Shows are still going on. Actually, more and more shows, Fast and Furious stuff. So we got some shooting the shits on there. We got a couple wrestling shows. WrestleMania was just the other day. We recapped that yesterday. WrestleMania with nobody in the stands. It was weird. It was weird and wacky. And two of the matches they actually recorded, off. The Undertaker fought. I can't remember his name right now, but in a boneyard match, and it was like a scene out of The Walking Dead. If you guys get a chance to even just look at it online, it was like.
I would have recorded a fake audience, right? Just to give them guys something to play off of. Somebody can always make cheers and make boos, something.
I did say they should have filtered in audience noise because,
what's the big deal?
Kind of like the Braves do.
Oh, or the Seahawks actually used to.
I was at a Braves game, and when you're walking inside to buy a pretzel, the crowd is loud as hell, and when you walk outside, they're all like this. No, I'm serious.
No, I know. And Seattle got in trouble for that. The Seahawks did.
Wow.
All right, so that'll do it for us. Look out on all the site stuff for different announcements coming up for different shows. We're going to do a recap show on Saturday of this week in the tournament, both the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8. And then finals will be next week. By the way, Denzel crushed Brad Pitt yesterday. He just crushed him. All right. That'll do it for us this week. We will talk to you guys next week right here on the Put It in the Book show. Later.
Later.